Daniel Cormier almost walked out of the Pound for Pound podcast when Kamaru Usman compared Jon Jones to Michael Jordan. Go check out the latest episode of Pound for Pound. Links in the description.
I think Jon is at the level, as far as UFC is concerned, as far as mixed martial arts is concerned. Jon is at the level. Jon is at the level that Conor is at, to where he could select.
I thought you were about to say Michael Jordan.
No, really.
I'm leaving, man.
But
if you would have said that, I was leaving.
To be honest, Jon is in a sense the Michael Jordan that we've seen in MMA.
No, he isn't.
You don't think so?
You don't interview?
You don't think so?
You just want to be done?
No, DC, right now, really.
What?
You're gonna tell me, going through everything that he has gone through, he's not at that level to where. Obviously, we're not talking about the outside, but as far as in the sport, Jon is at that level to where.
So Jon Jones is. So you telling me that Jon Jones is Michael Jordan and LeBron James of MMA? You gonna sit up here, real life on
hey,
1, 2, 3,
hey,
4, 5 cameras?
Hey,
Henry.
Hey,
Henry.
No, but let me finish what I'm saying. He's not far from it. He's not far from it. But this what I was.
Jon Jones to me is, if I'm talking about a football or basketball equivalent, yes. He is Jon Jones. And when I'm looking for a sports comp, is a guy who has done so much, but because of all the other stuff,
right? Okay,
it's hard to put him in that rarefied air. Hey, if Michael Jordan was doing illegal stuff, we don't know about it. I can't judge him. Georges St. Pierre can't judge him. I know of the other stuff. So it's hard for me to say this guy's just sitting up there.
Okay.
Michael Jordan got done playing basketball in 1996, and people still don't want to say somebody's better. There will be a person that comes along that people will say replaces Jon Jones as the greatest of all time. Absolutely. He has not left such a legacy that it doesn't feel like it's ever going to be toppled. Jordan left a legacy that is so strong that we have seen LeBron James do what he do. We've seen Kobe do what he do. We have seen these great players, and they're still unwilling to say they're better.
I agree with that.
Dana White was getting trolled on his Instagram live last night.
Dana, what do you do with 1,000 bottles of lube? Come into jump on Rumble, you guys, and get on the live chat. Except for all you oil guys, you guys stay here. You guys stay here on Instagram. Everybody that's not an oil guy, go to Rumble live chat.
Bo Nickal fired back at a fan calling him a disappointment for his inactivity. Bo last fought Cody Brundage at UFC 300 this past April and won via rear naked choke in the second round. The user wrote, "Bro, you are a complete disappointment. You finish all your fights within 2 minutes, take 0 damage, yet you go home, sit down for months at a time while all your hype and momentum dies. Why? Makes no sense whatsoever. This is why nobody is out here looking for you. This is why when you're not fighting, nobody cares. You need to wake the f up because it's so damn annoying." Bo fired back saying, "I'm training, brother. Not like these other guys who sit on the couch when they're not in camp. I've been fighting professionally since June of 2022. Anyone else near my position has over a decade of experience and 3 to 5 times as many fights. I'm on my own path and having fun. Just enjoy the show." Benoit Saint Denis discusses his recent loss to Dustin Poirier. He says he was not in the right state of mind for that fight and eventually wants to get that one back. Benoit says it's going to be hell for Renato Moicano this weekend at UFC Paris.
And never underestimate nobody, and you have to have a clear mind and to be an happy man in life to be a good fighter. This is very clear to me after this fight. Like you said, success came very fast, and I think when you have this much success, you kind of become a CEO, and you have to manage a lot of stuff that you don't manage usually. A lot of energy that is difficult to carry when you don't have experience. It took me time. A lot of fighters are talking about having a clear mind, mind problems, stuff like this. I don't know what is the word exactly in English. Yeah, mental health, exactly. And I understand now, because when the success comes, there are so many eyes and so many people counting on you, and I think I didn't manage to have a clear body and clear mind when I came to this fight, and I was done before fighting, and it's how I feel. And I fought a warrior, and the only way to get back to him is to get that belt from Makhachev, because the only thing Poirier doesn't have is an undisputed UFC belt. So I will have to work hard to get there, but right now I'm concentrating on Moicano. Moicano is my main goal, getting that victory. And like I said, I'm very happy to be. Anyway, I'm very happy to be part of Dustin journey as a fighter, because he is a great fighter. But I want it back, and I will work for it. But I have a lot of work to do, and to prove to a lot of people, to everybody, that when the God of War steps in, it's gonna be hell for the other fighter. I mean, it's huge. He's only been losing to guys like Aldo, Ortega, Fiziev, only top 5 guys, top elite guys, former champ, stuff like this. Everything can go very fast with the UFC. It's the way you fight, the way you engage, and the way you are promoting fighting on the UFC and mixed martial art globally, that will give you the opportunity to rise. And I'm here to do that.
Max Holloway discusses his preparation for Ilia Topuria. Max also gives his take on Ilia's recent win over Alexander Volkanovski. On his YouTube channel, Max said it's MMA. Every guy, every opponent is different. Is Ilia different from Gaethje? Yes. Is the training for Gaethje versus Ilia different? Yes. But it's the same. It's MMA. It's what we do. I fight a certain style. I fight a certain way. Opponents change, but we try to stay the same. It's MMA. You're going to have to make shifts, especially when certain guys you're fighting. Are Gaethje and Ilia the same opponent? No. Very different guys. Very different approaches we're going to use. The Topuria versus Volk fight, I learned a lot. Topuria is a killer, man, but I also learned to take concussions seriously. After that fight, like I said, a lot of people think Volk turned around too early. I was one of those guys, but it is what it is. The fight game. He and his team thought that they were ready. Topuria went out there and did his thing. Volk was doing his thing in the beginning, landing some, getting some. He was doing good until he wasn't. So at the end of the day, there's not really much you could take from that fight. That fight was only, 2 rounds? I forget. It was a fast one. You can't really watch too much. There's a lot of other film that we've been watching on him, so I'm going to show you guys. I'm not one for talking. I like to show. Tune in October 26th. Michael Bisping says Renato Moicano has no idea what he's stepping into this weekend at UFC Paris. Renato will be fighting Benoit Saint Denis in the main event, and Bisping thinks the crowd is going to be going absolutely mental. Speaking to TNT Sports, Bisping said every time they've been to Paris, the crowd has been phenomenal. The fights have been great, but I'm telling you, the atmosphere has been electric. This will be no different, because in the main event, it's the French Special Forces, the ridiculously violent and aggressive Benoit Saint Denis, the man that almost decapitated and finished Dustin Poirier on a number of occasions. But then he got tired and then he got finished. But guess what? A star was born, because if you almost do that to Dustin Poirier, there's still a lot of positives to go at. In steps the opponent, Renato Money Moicano, the man that is also slowly doing his thing, becoming a star in the lightweight division as well, which isn't an easy thing to do because it's so stacked. Benoit Saint Denis is going to be extra violent because he's in Paris. He's going to have that crazy crowd going absolutely mental. Renato Moicano, even though he's really good, and he's really skilled, and he's got great jiu-jitsu, and he's very confident, and he's good with the fists, he has no idea what he is stepping into. He's flying into enemy territory, and I'm telling you, I cannot wait for this. Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen think Islam Makhachev should turn heel. DC wants to write him promos. On Good Guy, Bad Guy, Chael said that guy is so charismatic, and he is so secretly funny. If he was to do a heel turn, I mean, come on. He said one of the great heel lines ever. He said a whole bunch of professors should be taking their black belts from guys, like that angle, and that is blasphemy in this sport, and nobody even knows got it. It was like his G-rated line. He didn't use profanity, he didn't yell. When he said it nicely. That is a heel move. What if he did a whole bit on that? Cormier responded, I think that's the move for Islam. He needs to get you and I to write him promos. We should write him promos. We write promos telling how much better he is than everyone. I would make him tell everybody that they don't deserve to be in there with him, and he's just going to lord over this division until he decides to retire. Aljamain Sterling recently shared a story from when he was in college with Jon Jones. Aljo says a week before Jon would fight, he'd be at the bar going nuts. Aljo said suspect number 1, and I got to see this firsthand, was Jon Jones. And we were in college together, and he was in the UFC, and I was still at school in Cortland. Some way, somehow, I messaged him on MySpace, and he's training right down the f***ing block from my college. I hit him up like, yo, I see you doing the grappling stuff and the fighting, and I always thought it was cool. I think I could be good at this. Can I check it out? How do I check it out? He was like, I'm training here. I was like, bro, I go to school right there. He was like, come down. So I came down and he was like, man, you're not going to show up. I was like, all right, bet. I showed up the next day and I haven't stopped training since then. But I would see this man a week before his fight, him at the bar going nuts. In my head, I was like, no sex, no drinking, no smoking. And I just thought the way of Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali and those guys. That's what they said. Don't do it if you want to be a champion. I'm like, okay. And then I would see him and was like, I don't get it. And then that weekend, he would just murder a guy on international TV. I was like, he's doing something right. I went from cold turkey to like 6 weeks. Nothing changed in my fights. Then it was 4 weeks. And then I got to 2 weeks and it was like, it's all mental, baby. Just put the damn work in and you're good. Tom Aspinall says if Jon Jones and Stipe retire after they fight, he'd like to fight the winner of Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov.
If Jones and Stipe retire, who would you like to fight next?
If them two retire, which I think's quite likely, but I don't know, you never know. I think it only makes sense to fight the winner of Volkov and Gane.
How active would you want to be as a champ? And once you beat Jones, who do you see as a challenger to your belt?
There's loads of challengers, there's loads. But as far as activity, I think fighting twice a year is good as a champion. I think that's, realistically, that's decent, twice a year, yeah.
Renato Moicano says he wanted to sucker punch Chael Sonnen back in the day. In an interview with Home of Fight, Renato said, I used to hate Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen, Colby Covington, all these guys that keep talking shit about Brazil, I used to hate. I remember I was not even in the UFC, and I was thinking about buying a ticket to the fights just to sucker punch Chael Sonnen, and he was doing the Ultimate Fighter because he was talking shit about Brazil all the time, and I was very offended by that. Earlier this week, Sean Strickland flew out to train with Alex Pereira. Alex is preparing to fight Khalil Roundtree at UFC 307. Here's footage of Alex and Sean sparring.
Are you the best açaí after training? Hey Sean, you need this, bro. You did 4 rounds, man, with the guys getting ready for a fight. You need some açaí,
You're a strong man, dude.
Brasil açaí, man.
Let's go, brother.
Brasil açaí, aí, ó. Oh, melhor, the best in Salt Lake City, this guy.
Next time when I eat this, I'm not getting knocked out, right? No more knockouts.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Justin. It says Wonderboy needs to leave the UFC and just compete in karate combat. The second one says Marab couldn't even finish with Nina Drama. The final one's from Shotgun Shells. It says hype for Figgy versus Jan. Great matchup, and glad to see Jan healed up. We missed him. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.